The enigma of the Ellora Caves, a challenge to history and logic. Imagine a place that seems to have defied the laws of engineering, a gigantic temple carved from a single block of stone, so meticulous and perfect that not even contemporary technology would dare attempt such a feat. This place exists in India and is known as the Ellora Complex, where every inch of rock reveals mysteries that contradict everything we thought we knew about ancient civilizations. Why are there no clear records of how these monumental caves were carved? How were tons of rock removed without leaving any trace? And why, suddenly, might access to the site be restricted to the public, fueling the air of mystery even further? These questions are just the entry point to a series of enigmas that continue to intrigue archaeologists, scientists, and curious minds around the world. The time has come to delve into this fascinating mystery and discover the stories, theories, and findings that still captivate us. Prepare yourself to explore one of humanity's greatest enigmas, a place that may hold secrets we are not yet ready to comprehend. Shall we investigate the mystery of Ellora together? In India, there is an archaeological site that completely challenges our perception of the past. Situated on a secluded hillside, an entire mountain was excavated with such astonishing precision that even the most skeptical scholars are left perplexed. How could they have achieved such a feat without the modern tools we know today? And why are there no precise documents recording who led this monumental project? Questions like these continue to baffle specialists and fuel the mystery surrounding this extraordinary site. But what exactly makes the carving of more than 100 caves into a mountain so impressive? The grandeur of the work is even more remarkable because there are no signs of quarries in the region. The sculptures resemble state-of-the-art three-dimensional models, but on a gigantic scale, reaching 3 stories in height. Even with today's technology, it would be a challenge to carve something so complex from a single block of rock with such precision. Could these caves be evidence of a lost ancient knowledge or technologies that defy the official version of history? The site, which depicts episodes from the Ramayana epic, fascinates all who visit it. Of the 34 officially open caves, the most iconic is the Kailasa Cave, also known as Cave 16. Even so, the entire Ajanta and Ellora complex, often treated as a single destination due to their historical proximity, holds mysteries that continue to attract attention. With rumors that the site might be closed to tourists, there is growing concern among devotees and locals who consider the caves a spiritual and cultural heritage. Although Ajanta and Ellora are about 80 kilometers apart, they are often mentioned together as they share architectural and historical similarities. Located in the state of Maharashtra, access is challenging, but those who venture to explore the Ellora complex discover an unparalleled experience. With more than 100 caves, only 34 of which are open to the public, Ellora is one of the largest rock excavation projects on the planet. Among these wonders, the Kailasa Cave stands out for its grandeur and richness of detail. This temple, dedicated to Shiva, the Hindu god of creation and destruction, was carved from a single massive block of basalt, combining monumental dimensions with artistic refinement that impresses any visitor. The Kailasa Cave is astonishing in its dimensions. It covers an area more than twice that of the Parthenon in Athens and is twice as tall. It was carved from the top down, a process that involved removing a colossal amount of rock, the whereabouts of which remain a mystery. Even today, it would be difficult to replicate this technique with the same precision. What did those ancient craftsmen discover that we have yet to understand? The complex features gateways, temples, sanctuaries, and sculptures so refined that they continue to amaze modern scholars. Researchers believe that construction took several centuries, although many disagree with these estimates and consider them exaggerated or misguided. The enigma of the fate of the removed rocks, tons of material, remains unsolved. Some suggest they may have been reused in other ancient works, but there is no concrete evidence to support this idea. Although contemporary engineering has evolved impressively, historical explanations about Ellora are often vague or insufficient, generating controversies. While some experts openly question these gaps, others prefer not to address them. This lack of consensus relegates the caves to a peripheral position in the archaeological debate. The Ajanta and Ellora Caves represent the largest monolithic excavation in rock known to date. It is estimated that more than 220,000 tons of basalt were removed, the equivalent of about 3 million cubic feet of stone, enough to build 3 pyramids like those of Giza. How did they manage to accomplish this feat without the aid of modern machinery, explosives, or advanced cutting tools? Compared to other rock-cut structures, such as the churches of Ethiopia or the tombs in the Valley of the Kings in Egypt, the Indian complex surpasses them all in scale. This monumental achievement has given rise to a range of theories, from plausible explanations to bolder conjectures, such as the hypothesis of extraterrestrial intervention. However, many of these assumptions ignore the historical and cultural context in which Ellora was conceived. Above all, the complex is a tribute to the Ramayana, the famous Hindu epic that recounts the feats of Prince Rama. Written in Sanskrit by Valmiki around the 5th century BCE, the Ramayana has served as a spiritual source of inspiration for countless generations. The inscriptions and sculptures in the caves depict Hindu mythological scenes, reinforcing the religious and cultural character of this extraordinary monument. Attributing the authorship of Ellora to beings from another planet profoundly diminishes the artisans and masters who dedicated their lives to this work, as well as weakening its connection to the rich Hindu tradition. This kind of sensationalist narrative ends up hindering the public's access to the archaeological site and undermining the understanding of its true historical value. The central question remains: who built this complex and in what period? The proposed dates vary widely, ranging from 500 to 1,000 years, and the Sanskrit inscriptions provide few definitive clues. Without means to directly date the rocks, doubts persist about the chronology and the methods employed. Regardless of the exact date, the planning and execution reveal remarkable mastery in engineering and mathematics. Even today's engineers are impressed by the precision employed in the excavation. Yet these questions generate heated debates, especially among historians who hesitate to accept the level of technical knowledge achieved by ancient builders. The Ellora Caves are living testaments to an era of splendor, an artistic and architectural legacy that defies time. Their temporary closure represents an enormous loss for the cultural heritage of humanity, preventing us from seeking fundamental answers and from contemplating a unique example of human ingenuity. The Ellora complex still holds enigmas that defy easy explanations. Some passages are so narrow that not even a person can pass through them, adding to the mystery surrounding the excavation techniques. The fate of the removed rocks remains another unknown. There is no visible debris or evidence of reuse in other constructions. One highlight is the imposing pillar of the Kailasa temple, standing over 30 meters high, carved directly from the rock, a masterpiece that defies any simple explanation. According to traditional archaeology, the structures at Ellora date back to the 7th century and were supposedly carved with rudimentary tools such as hammers and iron chisels. Some sources suggest that the entire complex was completed in only 18 years. However, considering the immense amount of rock removed, the richness of the sculpted details, and the complexity of the stairways and passages, this estimate seems questionable. Even with current technologies, Replicating something so grand would be an impressive achievement. The construction of the Kailasa temple by itself would have required a large, highly skilled workforce supported by an advanced logistical structure. The figures are staggering. It is estimated that only to carve Kailasa, approximately 380,000 tons of rock were removed. And this does not include the material extracted from the other 33 caves open to the public and dozens more that remain closed. In total, the volume excavated may have reached 3 million cubic meters, an amount sufficient to build something even larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza itself. One of the greatest enigmas is the whereabouts of all that rubble. There is no sign of mountains of debris or evidence of its transport to other locations. In modern construction, even on a smaller scale, there is always a pile of leftover debris. In the case of Ellora, it is as if the rock simply vanished. And the mystery deepens. Workers at a recent construction project in the region had to source rocks from quarries over 160 kilometers from Ellora, reinforcing the hypothesis that the logistics at the time were incredibly advanced, or that unknown methods were employed. Another intriguing element is the tunnels that end abruptly. Local legends speak of an underground city beneath the Kailasa temple, supposedly connected to these corridors. Residents report hearing strange noises coming from underground, especially at night. Are these merely folk tales, or do they conceal something more? Future investigations might reveal an underground network yet to be mapped. If confirmed, this city could hold clues to unlocking the secrets of the construction and the technologies used. It is important to remember that the caves at Ellora are not natural formations, but rather the result of a monumental excavation that transformed the mountain into an entirely artificial structure. The Kailasa temple, in particular, was carved from a single block of rock with a precision that still astonishes scholars today. Its detailed sculptures, staircases, and ornaments reveal not only extraordinary artistic skills, but also advanced technical knowledge. About 64 kilometers from Ellora lie the Ellora Caves, another remarkable wonder. Rediscovered in the 19th century by a British officer, they remained hidden for centuries. They are famous for their richly detailed frescoes and murals carved into a horseshoe-shaped canyon. Although difficult to access, they house shrines and artworks of incomparable beauty. In Ellora, the paintings suffered greater wear, but some of the deeper caves still preserve vibrant colors, leaving researchers intrigued about the painting techniques employed. Ancient Indian texts recount artifacts used by gods to raise gigantic structures without leaving any trace of debris. Such narratives can be read as metaphors, or perhaps as clues to technologies we do not yet understand. Some bolder scholars believe these texts refer to devices like lasers or sound vibrations, capable of cutting rock with precision. Are these merely myths or records of long-lost knowledge? The inscriptions and sculptures at Ellora strengthen the idea that an extraordinary civilization flourished there, equipped with techniques that still challenge our understanding. The caves of Ellora and Ajanta represent far more than just a testament to human talent. They are portals to a past filled with mysteries. Even if we never discover all the answers, these monuments continue to fascinate and inspire, reminding us of how little we still know about ancient civilizations. Perhaps by exploring areas that remain inaccessible today, such as the supposed underground city, we may one day reveal secrets capable of rewriting history and even the very technology of humanity. The cave complexes of Ajanta and Ellora, carved directly into the solid rocks of the Deccan Plateau in India, are true wonders of engineering, art, and spirituality. However, the mystery that hangs over these impressive structures goes beyond their grandeur. Who created them? With what tools? And how did they manage to accomplish such monumental works? These questions continue to intrigue scholars and spark the popular imagination. One of the greatest mysteries surrounding these caves is the enigma of illumination. How could artisans from antiquity carve intricate corridors and halls into dark cliffs without relying on modern sources of light? Traditional oil lamps, common in ancient times, typically left soot on the ceiling, something observed in sites like the tombs of the Valley of the Kings in Egypt. However, in the Ajanta and Ellora Caves, there are no traces of soot. Some scholars suggest the use of mirrors to redirect sunlight, but this would pose practical challenges. The light would scatter, and the mirrors would need to be constantly adjusted to follow the sun's movement. Candles, on the other hand, would not have had enough power to illuminate the execution of such detailed work. This has led to theories that perhaps there were methods of illumination lost to time or technologies that we no longer know. Ajanta was rediscovered in the year 1819 by John Smith, a British officer who, while exploring the dense vegetation, spotted a horseshoe-shaped entrance. The discovery attracted archaeologists who were fascinated by its colorful murals, detailed sculptures, and impressive architecture. Ellora, on the other hand, although known for a longer time, still intrigues experts with its monumental scale and complexity. Currently, access to parts of these caves is restricted by authorities, which fuels rumors of hidden secrets such as underground passages. Some replicas have been constructed to accommodate tourists, but the original caves remain closed in certain areas, further deepening the mystery and inspiring conspiracy theories. The most accepted theory attributes these constructions to Buddhist monks, who are believed to have used the monsoon season, when agricultural activities were interrupted, to dedicate themselves to excavations. However, this hypothesis does not fully explain the grandeur and complexity of the works. The rudimentary tools and manual labor seem insufficient to account for the precision of the sculptures. Moreover, there are no historical records that detail this construction process led by monks. The technical precision of these caves impresses any visitor. The sculptures, reliefs, and columns were carved directly into basaltic rock, one of the hardest on the planet, requiring not only sharp tools, but also advanced knowledge of geometry and engineering. One of the most emblematic examples is the Kailasa temple in Ellora. It was carved from the top down out of a single block of rock, and it is estimated that it required the removal of 20,000 tons of stone. Recent research calculates that it would have been necessary to extract approximately 55 tons of rock per day to complete the work within the projected time frame, something difficult to imagine with the manual tools of that era. Another mystery is the whereabouts of the debris that was removed. The exact proportions of the sculptures and ornaments reveal an extraordinary mastery of three-dimensional design. The polished surfaces and remarkable acoustics within the temples suggest a sophisticated knowledge of sound engineering, something that today is only achieved with modern techniques. Ajanta and Ellora are symbols of religious coexistence in ancient India, reflecting the Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain traditions. The Ajanta Caves, dated approximately from 200 BC to 650 AD, feature vibrant murals that narrate episodes from the life of the Buddha and tales from the Jatakas. Ellora, built between 600 and 1000 AD, houses temples dedicated to various traditions, with special emphasis on the Kailasa temple, dedicated to the god Shiva. It is interesting to note that the original philosophy of the Buddha did not encourage visual representation of his image. Even so, in Ajanta, the Buddha appears prominently, reflecting different periods of occupation and cultural changes over the centuries. The caves also foster an aura of mystery through legends that have been passed down through generations. In some Hindu traditions, there is talk of a legendary underground civilization, sometimes identified as Shangri-La, that would be connected to Ajanta and Ellora by secret tunnels. Although there is a lack of concrete evidence, these stories echo global myths about lost cultures and forgotten ancient technologies. One intriguing hypothesis is that of the electric universe, which relates certain symbols found in the caves to plasma phenomena recorded by ancient cultures. Some scholars suggest that these signs could point to an even more remote origin of the caves. Ajanta and Ellora are often compared to mysterious monuments, such as the pyramids of Egypt, Borobudur in Indonesia, and Petra in Jordan. All of these sites display impressive engineering skills and have seen successive occupations by different civilizations. Among these wonders, the Kailasa temple stands out for having been carved from the top down, a rather unusual method. Its resemblance to temples like Angkor Wat in Cambodia and the underground cities of Cappadocia in Turkey strengthens the theory that there once existed a global architectural knowledge that, in some way, has been lost over time. The caves of Ajanta and Ellora are not just places of worship, they also represent a legacy of technical and spiritual wisdom that is deeply intertwined. One example is the acoustics of the Kailasa temple, which amplifies Vedic mantras, creating a sonic experience that many consider a gateway to states of meditation and spiritual connection. Ancient texts, such as the Vedas, mention advanced technologies, from flying machines, vimanas, to energy devices, that although generally seen as mythology, may contain clues about the knowledge that ancient civilizations mastered to erect these extraordinary structures. Another fascinating aspect is the 12 unfinished caves of Ajanta. Their rough surfaces and lack of decoration reveal that they were abandoned before being completed, yet no one knows exactly why to this day. This mystery generates even more interest about the circumstances in which these works were conceived. Ajanta and Ellora are not just clusters of caves, but living testaments to a people who may have mastered techniques that we are only now beginning to decipher. They challenge us to rethink the past and reflect on the disappearance of fundamental knowledge throughout history. The caves of Ellora remind us that even with all our modern technology, there are still mysteries that elude logic and official history. And do you think we will ever manage to unravel all the enigmas of this fascinating place? Share your opinion and pass on this story to those who also enjoy exploring the unknown.